Hello everybody, John here from Gaming in the Wild. I've got something a little different for you today. It is a long-form review of Promise Mascot Agency, a truly wild indie game that came out this year. It's been a little bit overshadowed by things like Blueprint, South of Midnight, Clair Obscur, but I think this is an indie game that you really shouldn't miss. It's one of the best things that I've played this year. And so because of that, I'm breaking my usual rule. I usually save my long-form reviews for the audio podcast, which you can find at gaminginthewild.com. When a special game comes along and I want to tell you about it, I will turn it into a video too. So it's a long video, but sit back, enjoy, check out the game footage. I will pull the game apart. I will talk about its upsides, downsides, its development story, the critical response, and give you a really good overview of this brilliant little indie game. As always, your likes are very much appreciated to spread the videos. You can sub for more like this. Tell me in the comments if you like hearing long-form reviews on this channel, or not. If you prefer the small, snappy videos, let me know. And if you've played Promise Mascot Agency, let me know what you think of that game too. And with that, let's get into it. Here is my review of the wonderful Promise Mascot Agency. So Promise Mascot Agency is by Kaizen Gameworks. That is the company that made Paradise Killer, another game that I've covered in the back catalogue, and a game that I really liked. It was a detective game with a healthy sense of the weird, and I was a big fan of it. But Promise Mascot Agency is their second game. It is out on all of the consoles and PC. I played it on the ROG Ally handheld natively, and it ran really, really well. I think that's a testament to the team, because open world 3D games are the bane of handhelds. You know, it's the most challenging to render, it's got the most going on, it's got draw distances, textures, all of that stuff going on, weather effects, lighting, shadows, and this runs perfectly. It fits the handheld format like a glove, as if it was designed for it. So if you have a PC handheld or a Steam Deck, then Promise Mascot Agency is a good fit for it. It was medium well received. It got a Metacritic 77, which I think is outrageously low, to be honest. OpenCritic has it at an 82, which is a bit easier to swallow and a bit closer to, you know, the realms of reason. The high scores came from PC Gamer, which gave it a 94, and said that this game is like the least amicable city council meeting you've ever attended, and probably the best game you'll play this year. High praise from PC Gamer. Noisy Pixel gave it a 9 out of 10 and said Promise Mascot Agency is one of the most offbeat, gonzo, bizarre experiences I've had the pleasure of experiencing this year, whilst also being one of the most wholesome and comfortable. The contrast between the eccentric and the heartfelt really resonated with me. Good review, I feel the same, Noisy Pixel. Checkpoint Gaming gave it an 85 and said that it's bizarre, hilarious, stylish, and incredibly fun. But the scores that were dragging it down were many. It got a whole bunch of 6 out of 10s, including from Games Radar, who cited poor balancing, from Slant Magazine, who cited a lack of management sim complexity, from Creative Block, who cited too much management busy work. So the critics really could not decide what was wrong with this game. People who got it. People who didn't seemed to have lots of little niggles. But I will say that I think most of them are a bit off base. I say unfurrow that critical brow in this case and just enjoy what this chill little weirdo of a game is serving you. The developers described this one by saying, explore a cursed Japanese town, recruit mascot friends, and come to the rescue when disaster strikes. Solve the mystery of your exile, help a living finger work through her anger issues, turn Promise Mascot Agency into the best agency in Japan. I have to say of this one, it's a pocket-sized open world unlike any other. Playing as a disgraced Yakuza consigned to a dying former mining town, Promise Mascot Agency is part open world collectathon, part management sim, and part visual novel. But none of those titles do justice to the game's truly bizarre charm, or the unrestrained chaos, wit, and humour that make it one of the best indie games of 2025 so far. So I am certainly up there with that PC Gamer review. I think this is one of the best indies I've played, probably second only to Citizen Sleeper 2 so far. This was a wild time, and I had a really, really good time with it. It really did keep me company on that journey, and it felt like a place of comfort. But also, it's aesthetically so pleasing. It is so offbeat, wild, and surprising, and hilarious that it just really was a happy place for me, this game. And so I really appreciate that, you know. In this game, you play as Mishi the Janitor, an honourable Yakuza gangster, straight out of the Like a Dragon games, you know. He's a heart of gold, but he's also a Yakuza. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty, that kind of thing. And at the start of the game, you are involved in a 12 billion yen handoff to another family, which goes south. The money is snatched, Mishi takes the fall honorably, saving the life of his companion, and is disgraced as a result. But rather than being killed, he is sent off to a small town called Kazomachi. It's a dead-end town where the family owns a failing Mascot agency, and having lost their 12 billion, this is one of the last little things that they have. It's just behind the ear. It's almost something that they had forgotten about. And your task is to go there, turn the agency around, and send enough money back to the family to keep the thing going, keep the whole Yakuza family alive, keep the knives away from the family matriarch's neck, and maybe, just maybe, find a way to climb out of the hole that you are in. All of this is laid on you in a pretty big story dump at the start of the game. It's way too big of a narrative dump right up front. It tells us about the state of the various Yakuza families in Japan, which is story relevant, but just too much at the start of the game. It all went in one ear and out the other for me. I did read it, but by the time that stuff became relevant to stories, like who the other family heads are and what the Yakuza politics of the moment are, I'd been playing for 10 hours. I didn't remember any of that stuff. So a bit of a misstep. It trips out of the gate with so much story. But it is worth getting through that because it picks up pretty quickly after that when Mishi is dropped off in the cursed town of Kazomachi. And this is mostly due to the introduction of the main character of the game besides Mishi, and that is Pinky, the aforementioned weird giant severed finger with a little face on it that is, a walking, talking, weird little mascot that is going to be your wing person and your guide to the game. Things start with Pinky as they mean to go on. When you arrive at the Mascot agency, announce yourself as Mishi the janitor. The business is dead. The mascots have dispersed. The building has been turned into a failing love hotel. It has horrible decor. It's just a rough joint. And the manager is Pinky. Pinky was formerly managing the agency, but when the agency fell apart, they're now managing the hotel. And Pinky is a video game character for the ages. They are just a pink blob with a nail on the back of their head, a little face on the middle of the thumb. And they seem like a very online teenage mean girl in their personality. Sometimes they're also oddly childish, like babyish. Sometimes they are kind of oddly murderous and violent. They have dark impulses. They're prone to rage outbreaks. They will scream at you. They will dress you down. They will also help you and garland you. And sometimes they are nice as pie and they're cute and their eyes glow and there's a little, ping on the screen. So they alternate between being apoplectic, scary, and delightful. They are just an all-round oddball problem child. And your co-conspirator in the game. All of the voice acting is in Japanese, and Pinky's voice acting is amazing. And all of this accentuates the feeling that you're just watching the most bizarre Japanese TV show. It's like you're stuck in some hotel late at night and you've just landed on something and you're like, what the hell am I watching? And you do spend a lot of time talking to Pinky in this game. When you're talking to characters in this game, it's a visual novel setup. You see Mishi on the left, you see the person that you're talking to on the right. They have illustrations that are really nicely done. Mishi has a few modes, He's always carrying his trademark mop as he is the janitor who gets things cleaned up after all. And he can be cool, he can be brooding, he can be angry, he can be shocked. And Pinky has portraits too, representing all of the moods of Pinky, the murderous, the furious, the glowing. But anyway, after you announce yourself to Pinky, you have an argument, of course, and then Mishi, being the janitor, becomes the one in charge. Pinky decides to help you on your journey to reinstate the promised Mascot agency. Pinky too wants there to be a successful Mascot agency in town, and so you end up on the same side. The first order of business is to go and meet the corrupt mayor of this town and try and get your business license back. And so out into the open world you go. This is when you get your first taste of the open world portion of the game. It's an open world game, but it's a vehicular open world game. You will never get out of your car and control Mishi. You will only ever control the car whenever Mishi gets out of the building. You may see a little cutscene where Mishi and Pinky walk up to someone and talk to them in like a shopping mall or in City Hall or by the marina, on a farm, at a shop, that kind of thing. You never really control Mishi directly. You're only controlling the truck. So it's a driving open world game. You can drive around the entire town, its various districts, the haunted district, the shopping district, the political district, etc., residential areas, bars, the characters to talk to, things to see, places to go. You can drive around the roads if you want. You can off-road. You can drive through water, which is really, really fun. You can boost up nearly any vertical surface if you want to try. The van is janky and strange. And as soon as I got into the van, the first thing I did was to try and do things I'm not supposed to do with it. Drive off cliffs, drive in the sea, try and drive up a sheer surface just to see what I could get away with. And the answer was quite a lot. So I really enjoy that. There is no damage to the car, so you can literally drive off cliffs and land. Your car may roll, but it rights itself and you can continue. You can slam straight into walls. And Pinky will shriek when jostled in a really funny little way. But other than that, you can just get away with it. And I think that kind of flexibility speaks to the intention of the game, which is really just to put you in charge and let you have fun. It gets out of your way as often as it can. And I think that really helps, that vibe of just letting the player watch the chaos unfold. It gets better too because you can power up the van. You'll get more boost. You'll get better water and airborne movement. You will get loads more. The van becomes really quite a little powerhouse by the end until you're really crossing the map in no time at all. And I often say that if the movement in a game is good, then that's half the battle to making the player enjoy it. And the movement in this game is excellent. That battle is certainly won here. But of course, open world movement is only good if the map is good too. And there is a lot to do around the island and the town that you find yourself in. There are all kinds of ambient activities, like cleaning up trash by running it over. There are these little pink bags everywhere that you can run over at first, and eventually you can shoot them so you don't have to, drive over every single one. There are vending machines everywhere, some of which contain snacks and boosts, some of which contain quest items. So it behooves you to check out every single one. You'll find cosmetics for Pinky hidden away in strange places, like nail patterns for the back of her head. You'll find blueprints to upgrade the agency itself with better facilities that will make your mascots happier. You can also upgrade the town itself and open up new areas. And if you do so, you'll get more sources of jobs for your mascots. There are fast travel points to unlock all over the map. There are shrines with Torii gates that you need to clean and reopen. That becomes a meta quest for someone or other. You can also meet and recruit new mascots and grow your workforce. Each one of them is absolutely crazy. You will meet a crying block of tofu. It cannot stop crying. It's just a block of tofu in human form, or anthropomorphic tofu. It's one of the agencies that you'll be managing and sending out on jobs. You will meet a cat who is obsessed with adult entertainment. You will meet various Japanese spirits and just complete oddballs hanging around in all of the areas of the town. You have to recruit them, and so you'll meet them out on the road as well. You'll also meet characters like a rail master at the closed train station who has missing cats all over the island. That becomes a quest for you. You will meet a mechanic who powers up your van. He's collecting ghost stories about the region, which you can find as floating pages in various places. You'll meet a terminally online farmer who is more into content creation than tilling the land and is TikTokifying her farm, much to the confusion of her older farm father. And all of these people have quest lines, and when you find the things that they need, every time you hand one in, you'll get a little chunk of story. You'll get a little bit of their backstory. Also, Mishi engages in the conversation, so you'll get some of his backstory too. And so by helping people out around this dying island, you get to know your protagonist in a really cool way. And against all the odds, you become a valuable member of this community. There is, of course, also the business management side of things. This is where you meet the mascots, you negotiate their contracts, which means you set their pay, you decide what kind of perks that they will get, like time off or bonus payments, etc. And you will meet job givers out in the open world, like a mall manager or someone who is running a marina. And then they start giving you jobs which appear in the menu. You'll get alerts when new jobs appear. You match mascots to them. You give them a little packed lunch, which will help them out, and you pack them off on their way. So you're always sending out mascots. You're always seeing them come back. Your money's going up. You're trying to find more mascots to make more money. And you end up, sending out the crying tofu to go to a bookstore opening, or sending out the adult media cat to whatever kind of job comes up for the cat, like a bar happy hour or whatever someone wants a mascot for. Sometimes the jobs go wrong though, and at that point you will get a phone call, it's going wrong, it's time for a minigame. You will cut to wherever the mascot is, you will see them prepping to go on stage, and then something goes wrong, like maybe the stage collapses, maybe the door onto the stage is too narrow for a big giant block of crying tofu, and they get stuck. Maybe an angry spirit doesn't like the fact that a new store is opening on its turf. And when this happens, you play a card game where you can deploy locals who you've done favors for as cards to eliminate the threat. Cards are unlocked and powered up through your open world activities, so it all ties together really neatly. And it means that the card game is, it's basic, but it's fun. And you end up doing stuff like deploying a really powered up local nursery school teacher to dispel a murderer of dark spirit crows that are bothering a block of tofu. Just so surreal, so funny, so improbable, so bizarre. And I think the bizarreness of it helps you to enjoy the gameplay, which does become routine over time. This will happen to you a lot of times, but the fact that the scenarios are funny, the characters are funny, and the mascots are hilarious just makes it work. It's charming enough to pull it off. And I think all in all, this is the secret of why Promise Mascot Agency works as a game. Every system plugs into every other system, and it all hinges on the open world. So as you are driving around this really large play area, you will find yourself booking mascot jobs on the fly in the pause menu. You will find yourself answering calls to assist in minigames when needed. You will have a ticking clock. So if you're in the middle of something important, you have a couple of hours to help out mascots. So maybe you can pause at a good time or when you feel like doing it and then do a bunch of those minigames in a row. And also stopping by to meet all the new characters, to hear their stories, to hear the overall story of this dying town, which has fallen into disrepair, partly because of neglect, but partly because of corruption. The mayor is an incredibly corrupt character. They have received a lot of money for rejuvenating this town, and it just hasn't gone into the town. So every character has a story to tell. And as you put them all together, you get the picture of what's really happening in this town. You will end up getting involved in the local politics of the town and having to be at rallies and things like that. And so it all clicks together really, really perfectly. You can get into a groove with this game. And for me, the hours just flew by. And I think also if you're into relaxing map clearing, this might be the game for you. It's not tonally similar by any means, but a short hike is a mini open world with a lot going on that you just get caught up in. And even though this is an incredibly unwholesome game, it does have that same relaxed map clearing feeling of just heading out and getting stuff done, seeing what's out there. There are story and gameplay rewards for finishing side quest arcs in this game, like if you catch all the fox spirits, or if you find all of the idol group merch for the City Hall employee, or if you complete the arcade machine collection for the game guy, then you will get story rewards, you'll get material gameplay rewards. And so it does have that feeling that you're working towards something bigger, and that everything that you're doing matters, and it's like grains of rice all going onto a heap that end up with, making a real change to this community and having a lot of fun. I do think that the aesthetic of the game helps a lot to hold your interest too. The conversation's genuinely funny, the character portraits are wild. It has this 90s Japanese TV show feeling, including a filter on the screen that you can turn off if you want, but that I think helps. The characters are all just hilarious, that voice acting is spot on. It's all in Japanese, and that helps the vibes too, that you flicked onto a strange TV channel. And I will also shout out that this game knows what's fun and it knows what isn't. It knows that at first, scrambling for money to make payments gives a sense of urgency, but that as the game progresses, you're more bothered about the meta story and playing without pressure and map clearing. And so there is a good scarcity and challenge curve here too. You will be struggling for every penny at first and trying to keep the lights on, but there are some passive income mechanics that you unlock over time. You just start getting big chunks of money that just comes in daily. So by the end, you're kind of under control and you're in the clear financially, and you are exploring the open world, playing out the story, and cleaning up all the jobs you wish. I also think that the story is decent in this game too. There is some strange history in this little town, and it becomes clear little by little. There is some intrigue, there is some depth, there is some hidden stuff, and I was quite satisfied with the climax of both the agency's story, Pinky's story, the story of this community and the corrupt mayor, and the Yakuza plot of it all as well. So to round things out by running through some of the high points and low points of the game, I think in the good column, the vibes come top for me. The music, the art, the writing, the voice acting, the visual effects. This is a really fun, irreverent, vibey, messed up place to visit. It's perfect if you like Katamari style, Japanese flavored craziness. It really does score high on that front. But I don't want that to detract from the systems of the game, which are also very in the positive column, between the resources, the business management, mini games, the side quests, the open world collectathon, and the visual novel of it all. This is a really well put together and engaging video game. All of the systems lean on each other, like the open world. You have to find more mascots, which you can then send out on more jobs. You have to find blueprints to unlock the mall. And then if you unlock the mall, you'll get all of these store opening jobs for your mascots to then go and do. So everything is connected. It all feeds into each other, and it gives you a sense of constant progress and interconnected systems. Like you have to engage with all the systems, and it is fun to do so. And the whole thing just clicks together and works. It's a well-planned, well-executed video game. I also want to shout out the game's weird sense of humor. It's just really bizarre. Like the characters that you meet have come out of the dark corners of someone's mind. It is a little bit sketchy at times, but in a really fun way. It's just a bizarre, irreverent game. It has a wild sense of humor, and you feel that through the art and the story and the voices and everything. So a lot of video games try to pull this off. Most of them fail, but Promise Mascot Agency nails it. As for the downsides, there is a bit of grind here, no question. You will have to walk and chew gum whilst playing this game. You have to remember to send your mascots on jobs so you don't run out of money. You have to remember to stock up on items so that they don't always call for help every single time. There is a lot going on here, and I think that not all players will love the muchness of it all, of having to remember so many things at once, being pulled out of your driving to go and do minigame, and do minigames again and again and again. And for me, this manifested as a sense of like reassuring comfort, because I was just enjoying what I was looking at, what I was hearing, and the totality of it all. But if you're less in love with the aesthetics, you may find that this becomes a bit of a grind. If you're not enjoying the moment to moment, just looking at and listening to and experiencing this world, then the gameplay might not work as well for you. The car can also be a bit janky. It gets stuck on geometry as you bobble around doing crazy things you shouldn't be doing. They clearly know this. There's a respawn option in the pause menu, and you never lose progress when you respawn, but you will be getting stuck now and then on a rock and just having to reset it. And, a little bit tiresome, but honestly, I prefer the jank of the car. It's funny. It's part of the personality of the game. The humor of this game is risque and irreverent to a degree at which I would be curious if some people play this and feel put off by it because of that stuff. For me, it was well judged enough that I just kind of rolled my eyes and laughed along. I would be curious to hear if anybody, if it gets under their skin a little bit and they don't like it for that reason. For me, it's a game that wants to raise a smile or a laugh or a squeal or whatever, so I didn't think too hard about it. I just went with it, played it, and enjoyed it. So that's the game. It's a perfect little indie game for me. Don't pass up on it. As I said, I think it's one of the best games I've played this year. You'll be hearing more about it from me at year end. Wonderful little game. That's Promise Mascot Agency. And so that's the review of Promise Mascot Agency. I hope that you enjoyed it. A bit of a different kind of video for the channel. This is taken from the weekly audio podcast of Gaming in the Wild. If you didn't know that exists, there is a podcast. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple. You can even find a podcast tab on my YouTube homepage. It's audio only usually, because, I like to get opinions out about a lot of games. I like to talk about games in more depth than the YouTube format I have sometimes allows. And so the podcast is a place for that. If you would like more Gaming in the Wild, then that podcast is out there. You can also become a patron of the show to get more. There is 15 hours of bonus patron-only podcast on the Patreon. It's a different kind of thing. You'll hear music radio shows. You'll hear annual best music episodes where I will play tracks from games that I liked that year and talk between them. You will hear travelogues of trips to Tokyo, Dublin, London, different cities. You'll hear podcasts about different things, about books, literature, films, music, all kinds of stuff. So if you'd like to hear from me on things other than games and get bonus game content, it's patreon.com/gaminginthewild. It starts at just $1 a month. You also get an invite to the Patreon Discord. And thanks very much to my most recent patrons, Kansky, Essie Wood, and Cheryl, all of whom signed up in the last week, and my boss tier patron, Shy Guy, who supports me at the $10 tier. And with that, that's it for this video, so take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you on the next one.